Robattler Ultra is a couch multiplayer digital board game where players balance resource management and turn-based combat with roguelike elements. Players take on the role of a rookie Robattler, aiming to become the Robattler champion amongst the competition. Objectives include amassing enough fame to become champion, performing tasks to knock out your enemies, like dropping their fame and destroying all the robots, and not getting knocked out yourself. Gameplay is divided between two modes: board mode and battle mode. The majority of the game takes place in board mode, where the player has a top-down view of the board. Players start the game by choosing the first robot type, then rolling die to calculate their starting fame. After this, players roll to move around the board, adding a degree of randomness to gameplay. The board will contain intersections allowing the player to choose different paths to follow whenever they land on one of these points. Different spaces on the board will alter the state of the game, such as adding or subtracting scrap, the currency Robattler Ultra, or fame, a bar similar to the player's level. These spaces will also heal the player's team, or even force the player into battle mode with generated enemies. These generated enemies will require multiple battles to defeat, but reward the player with rare drops. Specific spaces on the board will represent locations within the world of Robattler Ultra, acting as a shop where the player can buy robots, weapons, and items using scrap. Whenever players on adjacent spaces or pass one on the board, the game switches to do battle mode, changing your perspective to a side view. Combat is turn-based, with battle only lasting a single round. This means that the battle ends after each robot that can take an action has done so. Players choose the attack target or to defend with each of their robots individually, based on the order of action. While destroying your opponent's robots is definitely a goal, the length of combat is not defined by wiping out the opposition. This keeps the player focused on managing their scrap, fame, and items along with the combat element. Robots have three stats: attack power, HP, and speed of attack, which determines their order in battle. The three types of robots are the quick attacking striker, the heavily armed tank, and the destructive buster. The player can customize attacks available to each robot by equipping them with weapons purchased at location spaces, or earned by defeating generated enemies. These can be equipped at any time during the player's turn while in board mode. Weapons include the flamethrower, the katana, the sniper rifle, and the virus knuckles, which do more damage, target more enemies, or can allow you to alter their speed of attack. Players can also use items inside and outside of combat, but this is limited to only one item per turn in board mode and one item per turn in battle mode. Board items includes the Rail Ticket, Endorsement Deal Ultra, Rail Ticket Ultra, and Publicity Attack Ultra, which allow you to move different spaces, re-roll, or gain, lower, or steal your opponent's fame. Combat items includes the Oil Bomb, which allows you to coat a robot in oil, EMP Rage, which moves target one spot back in attack order, the Nanite Syringe, which regenerates 2 health, and the Nanite Shield, which blocks damage and negates the effect of weapons such as the Flamethrower or Virus Knuckles. The player's fame represents their popularity in the world of Robattler Ultra, and will raise or lower to what takes place in the game. Players with high fame are not only closer to their goal of maxing out fame and becoming champion, but are also allowed access to stronger items from the shop. When fame drops, players lose access to these perks of stardom. When fame reaches 0, the player's career is over and they lose the game. Players raise their fame equal to the damage they deal in battle, but risk greatly lowering their fame if either their robots are destroyed. Players lose or gain different amounts of fame due to the space that they land on amongst the board. Players lose 1/3 of their fame if they do not enter battle mode or for more than 3 turns. Similar games are Game of Dice and Pokemon Duel, where players compete head-to-head or against an AI to earn the resources necessary to strengthen their characters for the next battle. Robattler Ultra differs chiefly by making all of this occur within the game board while putting less of time to train on player action. The boards for Robattler Ultra will be closer in design to those found in Game of Dice, though considerably smaller. The battle system will offer more player choice than Pokemon Duel's randomly selected roulette system, but attempts to mimic its quick nature. The biggest risk of Robattler Ultra is finding a good balance between combat and the board. Both need to continue to add the experience regardless of the amount of fame or scrap the player might have. An AI will need to be developed for battles generated from the board. Since these enemies only need to attack once per battle and only appear solo, they shouldn't require too much work compared to the other assets. Making certain the board is well laid out will require time to test out more than one map. Balancing the robot stats will also be important to keeping combat interesting. This can include the need to add, alter, or remove robot units, items, and weapons to maintain that the game stays fun yet challenging. I want to thank you for your time, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed my presentation for Robattler Ultra.